What's up, everybody? Welcome to 2025 and welcome to the neighbor's kitchen. I thought maybe we'd start out the year with a breakfast. If it's the most important meal of the day, why can't we start out the year that way? So this year I am focused on bringing you more breakfast recipes. That's what I'm going to spend a lot of my time researching and practicing and making videos on. So I thought perhaps today I'd kick off the year by showing you my normal breakfast. Pretty standard, changes throughout the year depending on what device I cook it on, but today we're going to use a combination of the air fryer and a cast iron skillet. So it's a little bit of old school, a little bit of new school. Let's make some home fries, bacon, and scrambled eggs. Come on, let's get cooking. Alright, so this is a washed and just lightly manicured russet potato, and we're going to, what is going on here? So we're going to go ahead and start by cutting up our home fries. So I like to just kind of make it parallel and cut the heels off. Don't need those. And I go for about that thickness. It's not, didn't do a good job there. Cut to your desired thickness. I'm kind of all over the place here today. From there, just keep cubing them. Alright, so there we go. And what we're going to do next is we're going to de-starch these. So ideally, do this the night before. What you're going to do is put these in a bowl and make sure everything is covered in cold water and stick them covered in the fridge. And this is actually serving two purposes. So the water will bring the starches out, allowing you to have more crunchy home fries, and it also keeps the potatoes from turning that gray nasty color. So ideally, like I said, do this the night before, but I wanted to show you guys how I do this. Can you see how immediately it's kind of turning a little bit of kind of pale almost? That's the starch being sucked out of there. And so I'm going to go ahead and cover it. And I intentionally got the purple lid for this video because here's the potatoes I've been working on this week. If your water starts to get a little cloudy or discolored, don't worry. Nothing's gone bad or ruined. No off-putting flavor. Just go ahead and swap the water for fresh water. You're good to go. I'll fill one of these up. Sometimes it'll be one potato, sometimes it'll be two potatoes, and this will last a good 3 to 4 days for me. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, this is the ones that have already been de-starched. I cut these the other day. I'm going to go ahead and strain this out, and we're going to dry them out on the counter. I just use a little strainer like that. Get them laid out in kind of a single file layer. And you do want to dry off your potatoes. That will help promote the ultimate crunch. So while these are drying out, let's go ahead and make some wonderful potato seasoning. So this is what I use right here. And if you don't do anything else from this video, write down or copy this potato seasoning recipe and use it on homemade potato chips, fries, wedges, tots, whatever. Because if you need ketchup on your potatoes, you're doing something wrong. All right, so this is pretty simple. I make a mess all over my counter. Wasteful, wasteful, wasteful. So what this is it is 3 parts kosher salt. So there's 1, 2, 3. It is 1 part garlic powder. 1. 1 part black pepper, half a part smoked paprika. Make sure it's smoked. And half a part oregano. Wonderful potato seasoning. Just go ahead and clamp on the lid again, shake it up, and now you got that on the ready for the rest of the week. All right, our next step is we're going to take our dried potatoes and we're going to get them seasoned and oiled so that we can start to air fry them. So use your favorite kind of oil. I'm going to use olive oil this morning. And you want to make sure you get a good coating all over everything. You don't want them too dry. And we're going to take our potato seasoning and give it a good coverage here. And then with a spoon, we're going to go ahead and make a bigger mess. It's important. You see, we don't have good coverage of the seasoning yet. I can see that everything is nice and oiled, so that's not the problem. You just go ahead, and I like to tip the bowl up like this. You get everything nice, even coverage. Already, this smells amazing, so wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the cabinet for later. I'm going to get some stuff rearranged for you guys here. I'll be right back. All right, it is time to start air frying our home fries. This is my newer air fryer from Instant. I've been loving it. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to hit the air fry button. We're going to go increase the time to 11 minutes at 375 degrees. I'm going to hit start. This is going to preheat. Then we're going to put in our home fries. Now this is done in a couple of stages. The home fries are going to take the longest time. So the way this works, and you'll see here in a moment, and don't worry, this is all in the description below if you're interested. We're going to cook the home fries for 11 minutes, kind of mixing them up in the between. And then we're going to set it for 9 minutes, put in our bacon with both of those in there. And then at the very end of the bacon cooking, we're going to head on over here to the stove and fire up the cast iron and do scrambled eggs. So, wonderful. The air fryer really cuts down on time with the home fries. Anyone who's cooked home fries from scratch knows that they can be finicky to get them to the desired crispness. And the combination of de-starching them in the fridge and the air fryer makes them perfect every time, taking out the guesswork, and you know exactly how long it's going to take. So that's a win. Let this preheat. I'll be right back with you. Okay. We got our add food, meaning that we are preheated. There's the inside of our nice little basket. I just like to make sure that they have a little bit of room for the air to kind of get all between them. And you can see here we're starting at 11 minutes. This thing's going to ding about halfway through to remind us to rotate. We're just going to shake it all around. And then, well, you'll see what's coming next. There's our turn food. Nice and golden brown. And sometimes these ones around the edge just bring into the middle for better airflow. They tend to get caught up in the pocket. And then just go ahead, pop it back in. Now, if your air fryer has a ceramic non-stick coating, whatever, make sure you're using silicone rubber tongs instead of metal ones, because you don't want to scratch that. One thing leads to another, and next thing you know, it's no longer non-stick. All right, there we go. So these are not done yet, keep in mind. They're just started. I'm going to go ahead and move them over to the other side and just get them kind of tossed and rotated one more time. And we're going to add our bacon. So just nice and evenly here. I like to do 4 slices. I think that's a single serving, or, you know, whatever you want. Get these lined out. Got some air between, or places for air to go between. We're gonna go ahead and pop it back in. Once again, hit the air fry. We're gonna take our time to 9 minutes. We're gonna leave it at 375. It is going to have to preheat again because we had the basket out for a little time. So that adds a little bit of time. Now, depending on your make and model of air fryer or how much food you're putting in, maybe you're cooking for 2 or more, your mileage may vary. I have found that 20 minutes total is perfect for the home fries, and 9 minutes at 375 is perfect for me on the bacon. My ideal cook level of bacon is it's still kind of pliable, but it's got a little bit of crispy to it. It's not just going to disintegrate, and it's not chewy. It's kind of like, to me, it's right in that sweet spot. So you figure out what works for you, and let me know in the comments below. Let's go ahead and get our eggs scrambled. This is the bowl I seasoned the potatoes in. I just rinsed it out. And you don't have to rinse it out. You can 100% use that same seasoning. I happen to really like the flavor of eggs, so I don't like to cover it up with a whole lot of flavors. And I've been on a scrambled egg kick lately, so we're gonna add, that was way too much milk. That's just fine. And the secret to fluffy eggs is a little bit of cream of tartar or tartar. I don't know. That's probably half a teaspoon. And like I was saying, I really like the flavor of eggs, so I don't like to cover it up. So I just use my 2-to-1, and I use a generous pinch, and then we scramble. And if your seasoning starts to stick to the bowl, just go ahead and turn your bowl and whisk that into the mix. That's the color I'm looking for. That wasn't too much milk, so that's good. And we're just gonna go ahead. Wonderful. And we can set that to the side and wait until it's time. All right, we are at the 5-minute mark, and it is at about my halfway point of the bacon. I like to get, this is my 10 1/4 inch cast iron skillet, and I'm gonna get it preheated. And for scrambled eggs, if this is 0 to 10, we're at about 42%. That's a nice medium-low heat. That's going to work perfectly for our scrambled eggs. This is about to tell us to turn our bacon, and we're almost there. It's almost time for breakfast. There's our turn food reminder. Come over here. This camera's a little better off for it. And we're going to give our bacon a flip. And our home fries, one more. Can you hear? You can hear the texture in there, can't you? Hope you can. And these go back in for the remainder of the cook time. This is preheating. Usually the reason I start to preheat that at the turn mark is by that time, that will be warm enough to cook our scrambled eggs, giving everything in here just a little bit of time to come down to temperature so that you don't burn your mouth. Okay, and we are done with our air fryer today. There's my bacon. That's actually going to continue to cook a little bit, but look at our home fries. Get these plated here, and then we're going to cook scrambled eggs and dive in to a wonderful, what has become Saturday afternoon breakfast. I slept in this morning. It was wonderful. Now if we slide on over here, this should be preheated, and I'm going to take, I need a little more butter than that. If your butter starts to burn and turn brown, your skillet is too hot to cook scrambled eggs. And so I like these spatulas that have more of a corner on it. And you want to make sure to grease the sides a little bit, just to promote non-sticking. You can see that it's melted, it's bubbling a little bit, but it's not burning or turning brown. I'm going to go ahead and give our scrambled eggs just another hit, so that if any seasoning came out of suspension, to get it back into the solution. And this goes pretty quick, so you can see already starting to get some cookage. And with my spatula, bring the outside into the middle. That is the difference between old school and new school. New school, you can't use metal utensils. Old school, you can. I'll let that get set up a little bit more. So it starts sizzling like that. Come over here and give it a toss. I believe there to be a large subjective threshold of where people like their scrambled eggs. For example, when I'm camping with my dad, he likes his very, I guess, stiff, like well done. I like mine to be more like fluffy and kind of, can you see that? That's where I like mine. I don't like mine burnt or starting to brown. So, wherever your preference is, cook to your desire. But you see that there? Fluffy, full of air, just like a pillow kind of. Cut that out. That's where I'm at right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that plated. Once this cools down, that'll scrape right off. And I don't normally do this, but I have some chopped Italian herbs that I have because I have been preparing for a Super Bowl video, and we're gonna put some of those on our egg. Let's go ahead and see what we have done. Alright guys, what do you think of that? This is what I am talking about. And I have this almost every day. The addition of the air fryer is a game changer. For granted, this took a little longer today because I was filming and I did cube the potatoes and make some seasoning. If you follow along and you dice your potatoes and make your seasoning ahead of time, this takes half an hour. So that's wonderful. I want to show you first my bacon. So you see, it's done and it's crispy, but it's not fall apart crispy. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear this. That's 9 minutes at 375. Perfect every time. What should we do next? Save the potatoes for last. Look at these eggs. Fluffy. As I said earlier, if you like them well done, cook them longer. But I like mine fluffy, airy. Simple salt and pepper. The butter is just a match made in heaven. And with the addition of the Italian herbs, Nice touch. I might have to add that into the repertoire. This is how to start out a Saturday. I stayed up too late last night watching Longmire. All right. Let's get to these potatoes. Look at that. See if you can hear this. The benefits of de-starching these potatoes is worth all of the trouble in doing it. And it's really not that much trouble. The air fryer makes a perfect crispy outside, and the de-starching leaves the inside nice and fluffy, kind of like a perfect baked potato. So, absolutely wonderful. Easy cleanup. This just gets wiped down. This is all non-stick, so the grease gets drained off into the discard pile. The little trivet goes in the dishwasher or just gets rinsed clean. Wonderful. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. This has been a lot of fun to make. This is going to be a great year. If you don't mind, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Remember, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a ThermoPro Twin Temp Spike to one of you. Yeah, it's going to be a good year. If you need any wooden cutting boards, link to my eBay store down below, handmade by me. I think that's it. Hey, until next time, be well. I think the next video coming out is blueberry muffin bread. See you guys. I love bacon and eggs and potatoes.